begin this morning by recognizing outstanding achievement in journalism that had a positive impact on a community. The American Legion Fourth Estate Award is difficult to earn. It is a testament to the demanding nature of the competition and the quality of the entries. Not only do the reporters have to be informative and entertaining, they have to provide a tangible benefit to society. Being honored in the broadcast category is CNN. During its 2014 investigative reports of health care delays at VA hospitals, senior investigative correspondent Drew Griffin exposed a widespread national crisis which helped lead to the eventual resignation of VA Secretary Eric Shinseki. The series, Crisis at the VA, also helped lead to sweeping changes at VA, reforms that are still having an impact on how the agency cares for veterans. Please turn your attention to the video monitors.
Patton from Des Moines, Iowa.
So the most disturbing example yet in our ongoing investigation of U.S. military veterans dying while they wait for medical care at VA hospitals. As a result of our previous reporting, Congress launched an investigation. Now we've uncovered just how far one VA hospital went to hide its outrageously long wait times. 40 veterans died while waiting for care at this hospital. Now, that would be shocking enough. Keeping them honest, though, there is more. A doctor who's left the hospital says that managers were actually keeping two waiting lists, a sham list that made the hospital look like a model of efficiency and a secret list that showed the deadly reality.
The only record that you have ever been there requesting care was on that secret list. And they wouldn't take you off that secret list until you had an appointment time that was less than 14 days, so it would give the appearance that they were improving greatly the waiting times, when in reality it had been 6, 9, in some cases 21 months.
In the case of a 71-year-old U.S. Navy veteran named Thomas Breen, the wait ended much sooner.
He started bleeding in his urine. So I was like, listen, we got to get you to the doctor. We got to get you to the doctor.
Teddy and his wife rushed him to the Phoenix VA emergency room, where he was examined and sent home to wait.
All they wrote on his chart was must have primary doctor in 1 week. Urgent. And they sent him home.
This is a copy of Mr. Barnes' VA medical chart stating clearly on the top urgency that he should be seen by a primary care physician or urologist within a week.
Me and Pop called.
Numerous times.
Numerous times.
And you never got an appointment?
No, I got a response. Would you like to hear the response? Well, you know, we have other patients that are critical as well. It's a 7-month waiting list, and you're going to have patience.
Thomas Breen died on November 30th, 2013. The bleeding was from inoperable stage 4 bladder cancer.
They called me December 6th. He's dead already. With the
They called you and said?
I said, what is this regarding? She goes, we have a primary for him. I said, really? You're a little too late, sweetheart.
Dr. Foote says Mr. Breen's a perfect example of a veteran who needed an urgent appointment with a primary care doctor and who was instead put on the secret waiting list where he remained hidden.
And if you die waiting for your appointment, you didn't exist?
Correct. They can just remove you from that list, and there's no record that you ever came to the VA and presented for care.
Pretty convenient.
Pretty sad.
Accepting the award from CNN is Drew Griffin.
The award reads, the American Legion 2015 Fourth Estate Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Broadcast Journalism is presented to CNN during your year-long investigation into delays in care at Veterans Affairs hospitals. CNN exposed a widespread national crisis within the U.S. Veterans Affairs healthcare system, resulting in the resignation of VA Secretary Eric Shinseki. Crisis at the VA, presented at the 97th National Convention, September 3rd, 2015, Baltimore, Maryland.
Good morning. This is going to go over the head of a lot of young people here, but when I read that this award was presented in the past to Paul Harvey and John Wayne, I thought for sure this election committee must have made a mistake. It's an honor to be on that list and an honor to be recognized along with my fellow journalist colleagues from CBS and USA Today, Ben and Brad. But more than who this award has been given to is humbling to know to whom it comes from. I really believe that I live in the greatest country in the world to practice what we do. And without hesitation, I can walk out and just give hell to any politician across the country for just about anything. We can go to a cabinet secretary and say to his face that we believe he's lying. We can go to a senator and say he's not doing his job. We can go to administration and saying they're not living up to their promise, a promise that they were sworn to uphold, without any fear that I'll be carted off to jail. In fact, I might even get an award for some of that work. That's the freedom of the press, and we at CNN exercise that freedom of the press not lightly and not without knowing who earned it for us, which is why what we did with this VA investigation, which is not over, was in no small part a way to show you, the people have preserved this freedom of the press for us, that we have your back, and we're going to try to do our best to protect those who protect our right to have freedom of the press in this country. And by doing right by you, I think we do right by Americans to withhold and to preserve the rights that I think we all need to protect every day. You may have heard good words about the VA earlier this week from somebody. I want to tell you that we don't believe it's over, not by a long shot. We know that the wait times are not down. We know that the wait lists are not gone. We know that the choice program is something that many of you don't choose. And we're on it, and we have your back. But today I just want to humbly say thank you on behalf of CNN, on behalf of our investigative team, my producer Nellie Black, who is with me today, Anderson Cooper, who is a champion of your cause, and our president, Jeff Zucker. Thank you from the bottom of our heart for this most prestigious award. Thank you so very much.
The Fourth Estate Internet New Media Award goes to CBSNews.com. With its series, Tapping into Controversial Back Surgeries, the CBS News team gathered and provided data that showed a small group of doctors were responsible for a disproportionate amount of painful and costly surgeries. After the story aired, the FBI, Justice Department, and Health and Human Services Inspector General used the data in their own investigation. Here is a look at the award-winning series.
Back pain is one of the most common reasons Americans go to the doctor. Each year, hundreds of thousands of patients turn to spinal fusion surgery.
But that procedure has sparked debate in the medical community over whether some doctors are performing the spinal fusions that are unnecessary and even dangerous.
Barbara Jo Smith has lived in Clarksville, Tennessee her whole life. She grew up on a farm, riding horses and chasing around two brothers. But by age 45, she had developed debilitating back pain.
I couldn't pick up the kids anymore, or I'm a house cleaner, and I couldn't do what I used to do.
In May of 2010, she saw Dr. David McCord in Nashville.
And sometimes there's another answer. There is hope.
His website calls him a pioneer in the treatment of spine pain. Dr. McCord performed a spinal fusion surgery on Smith, using metal plates and screws to join 3 of her vertebrae.
I didn't know it was going to be worse.
How worse?
It hurts to sit It hurts to stand, it hurts to lay, it hurts to do anything. There's mornings that I have to sit and talk myself into getting my socks and shoes on for like 15 minutes just to get them on.
From 2001 to 2011, the number of spinal fusions in the United States increased 70%. There are now about 490,000 of them performed in the U.S. each year.
I've been involved in studying this problem for...
Dr. Sohail Mirza is chair of orthopedics at Dartmouth-Hitchcock Medical Center. He has published studies on what he considers the over-treatment of back pain.
If I'm a back pain patient and I walk into a surgeon's office and he says, have a spinal fusion, what is it that I, as the patient, need to know?
The benefit is limited and it's short-lived. After a year, certainly after 2 years, if you were to avoid surgery and have surgery, the results in terms of pain improvement are not very different.
But concerns about this procedure go beyond Dr. McCord. When we looked into the surgeons that perform the most spinal fusions in the Medicare data, we found some were suspended by hospitals or settled lawsuits alleging inappropriate procedures.
Why are all of these spinal fusions being done, in your view, when they are inappropriate?
It's a confounding issue. Surgeons get paid for doing surgery.
As part of our investigation, we put the Medicare data we obtained on our website, cbsthismorning.com. You can see how many of these fusions your doctor performed and compare them to others in the region. We've also looked into 3 more surgeons across the country and shared one top doctor's reaction to our findings.
Accepting the award is Senior Investigative Producer Ben Eisler.
The award reads, the American Legion 2015 Fourth Estate Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Online Journalism is presented to CBSNews.com, tapping into controversial back surgeries. Your investigative reports brought needed scrutiny on the disproportionate number of painful, potentially harmful, and unnecessary procedures performed by certain doctors accused of putting profits before patients. Presented at the 97th National Convention, September 3rd, 2015, Baltimore, Maryland.
Good morning. Thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful for this, and though I must admit that in a room full of veterans and service members, I think we feel like the last people that should be getting an award. To start, I just wanted to thank all of you for your service. I'd also like to just quickly thank Len Tepper, who's the head of the investigative unit at CBS News, for letting his journalists work on issues that they're really passionate about. And I'd like to thank my family for tolerating my inability to have intelligent discussion about anything but this project for 6 months. We're dedicating this award to 2 veterans that have meant a lot in my life. The first is my grandfather. He served in the Navy during World War II and passed away last year. This was his suit. Just don't ask me to button it. Ever since I was a toddler, he would tell me stories, and he showed me how powerful they can be, and he worked hard so that I could pursue a career like journalism. The second person that we want to dedicate this award to is a surgeon that helped us with this story. His name's Eugene Carrigy. First of all, Dr. Carrigy is a leader in the field. He's chief of spine surgery at Stanford and editor-in-chief of the Spine Medical Journal. Dr. Carrigy is also, as I mentioned, a veteran. In 1992, he was severely wounded during an artillery bombardment with UN peacekeeping forces in Cambodia. And in 2007, he suffered burns, a collapsed lung, and a dislocated shoulder as a command surgeon in Iraq. He received a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star. If this wasn't enough, in 2011, Dr. Carrigy took on one of the world's largest medical device companies, exposing how it downplayed serious risks in one of its most profitable products. For this, he received death threats. And last year, while a friend of mine was in Stanford Hospital after an emergency spine surgery, Dr. Carrigy insisted on coming to see him, despite the fact that his own young son was going through difficult medical treatments. As soon as his wife arrived, Dr. Carrigy came by. And he spoke to my friend with a level of compassion that I've rarely seen, not just in medicine, but in life. I mentioned Dr. Carrigy because he's the last person that should be expected to continue to make sacrifices, and yet he keeps giving. And when I feel like giving up, he inspires me to keep fighting for the public good, because I know I could never leave him in the trenches. So this is for him and my grandfather. Thank you.
This year's print category award goes to a previous Fourth Estate winner, USA Today. In his three-part series, Fugitives Next Door, Crossing State Lines to Freedom, senior investigative reporter Brad Heath found significant flaws in the police departments and prosecuting offices across several states, which allowed almost 200,000 fugitives to escape justice merely by crossing state borders. Let's watch a short video about this series.
If they had a got him, my husband would probably still be living today.
It really shocked me, and I wasn't surprised that they actually let me walk out of there with a warrant for my arrest. That serious.
It is frustrating when you run somebody and they are wanted, and then it's kind of, here's your free pass, walk on.
For thousands of accused felons, the long arm of the law isn't as long as you might think. A USA Today investigation found that more than 186,000 people, including more than 20,000 wanted just in Philadelphia, are running from charges ranging from drunk driving to murder and can escape justice simply by crossing a state border. We found them in communities across the United States, from suburban cul-de-sacs to state prisons.
They have their opportunities to come get me. They don't want me.
I wrote a letter, everything to Court of Common Pleas, begging them to come extradite me. My mom even offered to pay them to extradite me back.
I don't understand how they couldn't have known that he was a fugitive wanted on gun charges in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I just don't understand. I mean, that's a major case.
They get away because police and prosecutors don't want to spend the time jumping through the legal hoops to retrieve them from another state.
Our jail's capacity is already maxed out. That's probably the same issue that Philadelphia has. So they have to be very selective as to the people that they're willing to extradite, just because we're bulging at the seams. They're pretty much scot-free here as long as they stay here in New Jersey.
All right, 1171.
Police know it, and so do many of the fugitives that they're not chasing.
This is the furthest thing from my mind, because it never came up before. So I just pretty much put in the book that it was a done deal.
With no one chasing them, unwanted fugitives have gone on to rob, rape, and even kill.
I had to forgive, but I couldn't forget.
See our complete investigation and hear from police, fugitives, and victims' families. Find out if your police won't chase suspects to other states at fugitives.usatoday.com.
Accepting the award is Brad Heath, reporter for USA Today.
The award reads, the American Legion 2015 Fourth Estate Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Print Journalism is presented to USA Today. Your series of investigative reports prompted police and prosecutors to reconsider or reverse decisions to let thousands of fugitives avoid arrest by crossing state lines. Fugitives Next Door, Crossing State Lines to Freedom, presented at the 97th National Convention, September 3rd, 2015, Baltimore, Maryland.
Good morning. I'm from USA Today, so I'll keep this short. I just want to start by telling you how, on behalf of USA Today, how much we all appreciate being recognized by people who have performed such great service for our country, and how humbling it is that you think our work in some small way worthy of your recognition. It's a curious thing to work for a newspaper. I get a lot of telephone calls from people asking, can you help me? And my usual answer is to say, the most I can ever do for anybody is write a story about something, and when I say it, it doesn't feel like I'm offering to do very much. And then every once in a while, I really get a reminder of the power that words and pictures can have to make a positive impact in someone's life. And I think that is what our founders had in mind when they envisioned a free and vigorous press. I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank the phenomenal team at USA Today for their support, and to say a word about the editors who've given us the freedom to explore and indulge our curiosity, and the dozens and dozens of journalists across our company who worked long hours to turn that into a reality. We really wouldn't be able to do this kind of work without that support, and it's amazing to see newspapers doing it. And I think where I'd end is where I began, that you all have done so many wonderful things for this country that it is truly humbling to be here. And on behalf of USA Today, I really just want to say thank you, and I hope we can continue doing work that will be worthy of your respect and recognition. Thank you.